Hi, and welcome to Almost a Podcast, a show where a couple of friends talk about whatever comes into our heads as we figure out how exactly you make a podcast. You'll have to excuse any roughness around the edges, as we don't quite know what we're doing. Without any further ado, enjoy the show. Silence your cell phones. Welcome to Almost a Podcast. My name's Sean. I'm joined here by Colton and Michael. And I have a great idea. Really, I want to talk to you guys about this for a little bit.
Okay.
Let's buy a house in Japan.
A house in Japan.
Wait, what?
Yes. All right. I'm going to back it up.
Okay.
I discovered an Instagram channel recently called Cheap Houses Japan.
Oh.
And like 2 to 3 times a day, they're posting houses under 100,000 somewhere in Japan. And some of these houses I've seen are cheap, like $40,000 for like nice looking houses, traditional looking houses. Some of them need a lot of work, because they're probably from the 50s. But it's a house in Japan. And
it's land.
It's land.
Buy
land.
I do have my questions though.
Yeah.
So are these
let's hear them.
Are these fixer uppers? Like, not that I mind if it's fixer upper, but
not all of them are.
Wow.
Some of them are pretty darn nice. Some are recently renovated.
Okay. Where are they? Like in the rural Japan?
All over. Some can be like, I've seen some in Kobe. I've seen some in the middle of nowhere I've never even heard of.
Huh.
Let me see if I can pull some up here. Like,
show the audience something.
There's there's this. I'm gonna read as much as I can here. Like, there's this thing right here. This is a house in Chachino Hame Amayori. I butchered that name.
Just fix
but it's
it in
a
post.
short drive from the coast. 2-story home in Hachinohie. Hachino, whatever.
Yep.
Combination of Japanese Western style rooms. The house is a second floor, front facing balcony, abundant storage, and wood floors. One caveat is the kitchen, which looks like it needs some updating.
Okay.
But it's $45,000 for like a nice looking house.
Wait,
Pretty
what?
nice. I'm a little sus about this, Sean.
Yeah.
Like these are like nice rice paper windows and everything.
Looks really good. Yeah.
Now, I am a little sus about this, but I've also heard that they do like this kind of giveaway thing where they'll give away houses for sometimes even free because they're out in the middle of nowhere and they just need like people. And basically the stipulation is that you live there for at least a year, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what was like the stipulation there. All I know is you gotta like be in the area because they just need people to keep the economy running. Yeah. So
but they have apparently you can buy houses on a tourist visa. Like, it's legally you can do that.
That's funny.
But we all know the hurdles that are associated with buying something in Japan.
Yeah.
But you could do it feasibly. I've seen houses. This guy has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses, and they're all like awesome. Or a lot of them are. A couple of them I'd be like, it's too much work for me. But
right.
I saw one that was amazing, but it was super cheap because it was I forget the term. It's like a problem house.
Okay.
But like it had a psychological issue. That's what the term they use.
Psychological issue?
Like someone died in the house.
Oh yeah, someone lived in it and
there was a murder nearby, and it like ruins. And for superstitious people, that's like gonna be a problem. A lot of the the spiritualness of Japan, it drives the price way down. But for us, I don't care.
Who cares? We're gonna be living there together,
right? Yep.
And
we're gonna become BFFs with Ghost.
Yeah,
I mean, Phasmophobia has taught me so much. Okay, well, just forward us that Instagram page, and we can all put an offer in. Honestly, if it's $40K, if you're actually getting in a house for $40K, I mean, we could nearly buy the house.
15 in
within like.
Think about tax on it too. Basically, I'll put 15 in and don't.
It would be really easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if it's even just by the land, like there's this house I found here. There's $26,000.
This has to be
Yamaguchi.
There has to be a catch here.
Okay, hold on, let me read this. Check out this lovely old detached house sitting right at the top of a hill, encircled by nature and with views of Seto Inland Sea. It's the perfect getaway for nature lovers looking for a taste of rural Japan. The house looks to be in pretty good shape for its age, over 50 years. I mean, it just looks like an old house, and very rural. That's the catch. Very rural.
Rural's not too bad. Like, honestly, I would buy a rural house in Japan just to have it.
Yeah.
Like,
and just remember that rural in Japan is not super rural normally.
Some of these things are rural.
Yeah.
Right? But
like compared to the US rural, where it's like, okay, you're 100 miles from the closest city. Japan, it feels like it's like, okay, you're 20 miles from the closest city.
I'm sure they got some.
Yeah. I think some stuff in Japan
like
is
up in the mountains,
rural,
maybe, but
yeah.
I mean, this is a great mountain house here for $90,000 in this other post I'm looking at.
Jeez.
Huh.
But occasionally there's some like real gems, and I see this and I'm like, wow, that I would love to live there. And it's like next to a train stop, or a bus stop. And
that's all
as
you
long
need.
as you're next to that, you're good to go.
You're golden.
Oh
Even if you're just a bike ride away from a bus stop, that's like life changing over there. You can get pretty much anywhere.
What is wrong with the Yamaguchi Prefecture?
But
this house is $9,000.
Okay, no freaking way.
Okay, it probably needs like a roof replaced or something like that.
It's like you will have to also donate your kidney and your liver.
This is a 2-minute walk from the sea. It was built in the early 1900s, and inspection costs like $700. You get it inspected for less than $10,000, and buy it for less than $10,000. And this actually has it's just a classic Japanese house. It's small, probably, but
right.
Imagine owning a house in Japan. Like, oh, I'm just going to go to my vacation home in Japan.
Dude, yeah.
Like, if you're buying a house for $10,000, like, I would make the money back in, like, hotels and hostels by all the times I visit there.
Wait, so, like, what's the story with, like, Airbnb there? I haven't really looked into it, but is that something that's,
they cracked down again recently.
Okay. So it's
like
still
when we went, it would have been actually great to do Airbnb.
Then, I bet.
And then about last year, running up to the Olympics, they cracked down on it really hard, and it had to have like a lot of specifications that couldn't be met. I think, I don't know them off the top of my head, but it closed them a lot of them down. So a shame.
That really is, yeah. Because imagine you could do like 3 houses, all Airbnbs, and you could probably just like have like a little. That's like your income, right?
That is your income, yeah. I will say,
I'm sure it'll loosen up a bit eventually.
Right. I don't mind the hostels though. The hostels are so nice. Like traveling to any foreign country, being able to be like a little bit part of a community, it's really fun. Because you can like,
I'd 100% go back to the Millennials.
The Millennials was great. We'll definitely go back there.
Millennials
shout
was
out to Millennials.
S tier, man. S tier.
Yeah, shout out because I can't see myself staying at any other hostel. That's amazing. You get
not that much. Like it was the most expensive one we stayed in, but not a lot.
It wasn't that bad. Yeah.
My favorite was probably the one in Osaka. I mean, I love Millennials, but I think for like the location wise, I love the one in Osaka that we stayed at because that was like 3 blocks from Sensoji Temple, just down the street. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember this place.
It was by the McDonald's, right?
Yeah, so this is the one when we arrived back in Tokyo.
Ouch.
And we're in Osaka, and then there's like a festival going on that evening.
Yeah,
Wait, what? And we just got drunk and wandered around the festival.
That was really cool. That was super cool.
And hung out with the one guy and his wife in the wheelchair, and they're just like just drinking and
100%
smoking. It was just that was a lot of fun.
There's some interesting encounters over there in Osaka. Yeah,
Osaka was Tokyo. But Osaka, there's also some interesting.
That's okay. I see.
That was when we came back and it was night, right? And we were like, it was so weird because we walked around the corner and it was like construction happening that we didn't even hear, and that blew my mind. I still tell that story because like,
oh yeah, it was like super quiet.
Construction's happening in the U.S. from miles away.
Yeah,
here it's like. Quiet night street, turn the corner. Oh, there's a jackhammer going somehow.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't hear this.
I didn't remember that, but I remember seeing the construction in, I think it was Osaka when we went to the Cup of Noodles. There's construction on the way to Cup of Noodles, and I remember hearing nothing. Even like they had like a giant crane like moving stuff.
I didn't see that. That's how quiet that was.
Yeah, I thought we like thought they were off, but then we saw a bunch of people like moving around stuff, and we're like, oh no, they're like, this is just how they work.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
The only time I really noticed construction was like heard it was when we were in that marketplace, and it was near the otter or the Shibunu place.
What is the name of that market in Kyoto? Right.
It's so hard now because like it's been a couple years and just the names start just escaping from me.
Yeah.
Like, when I was there, I could be like, oh, this name. Now it's like like it just escapes me.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Nishiki,
right.
that's what it is.
Nishiki market. Yeah,
we just wandered around there. That was awesome. What you need to do is just overlay the Google Translate translations so we actually sound like we're pronouncing these things somewhat correctly.
Yeah,
exactly.
somewhat. Yeah.
Microsoft Sam.
The great thing about posts is we could just record these later and then just try to like match our inflection that we had during the conversation, and then just be like, yes, it was Fujiwaka-san or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Could be really pro, but
that'd be kind of cursed.
Yeah, a little bit cursed.
I think that's too much effort for me.
Yeah.
One day maybe I'll learn the names again, but
yeah,
I need to go back and reread them. Like I've still blank on the name of the Thousand Gate Shrine. That we went to.
I don't remember that. Is it like Inari Shrine? Is that right?
Yeah,
Fushimi Inari. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
Now that you've said it, it triggered my memory.
Well, okay, going back to the house conversation. This brings back a great special. The boys travel to Japan and look at houses, and we like see if these $10,000 to $90,000 houses are warranted.
Oh man!
And we'll buy one if they're worth it.
If we ever get to the point where we do specials, heck yeah.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
Do that.
Honestly, next time we go back, we should try to just go to one of these houses and see if we can actually tour one of them.
Yeah, and have you
insane.
Looked at the red tape around it? Like, because I know that there can be a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to buying anything.
Yeah. No, I've not looked at that. But
it's probably like double the price.
We show up and hey, we'll buy a house.
If we could speak,
if we just show up with like let's say the house is $10,000 and we show up with $15,000 in cash, I think they'll take it, right?
I mean, yeah.
Or what's that in yen? Like 1.5 million yen?
It is like 1.5 million yen.
No,
no.
In a house in the U.S., if you show up with like 10% less than the asking price or 15% less than the asking price in cash, they'll be like, all right, let's go. So I bet same rule applies in Japan. But who knows?
Yeah. I heard a story about someone who bought like $1 million house recently in cash, and they showed up with like an armored truck.
Oh, really? To like deliver the cases
to deliver
of cash.
the money. It's like, here's the money, and they drove the armored truck to a bank, and the seller's bank, and just deposited the cash.
Yeah, at that rate, it's like, almost like trolling. It's like, nuts. Yes, I am affluent.
Yep.
I think something sketchy was going on.
Yeah.
The guy was like a weed grower.
Oh.
And
he's like, all right, I don't.
Maybe you got the money a little bit.
Yeah, I won't put this on a cash or a bank note of any kind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just sounds like money
can't be
laundering.
Federally registered.
Can't be federally traced.
Exactly.
Sure can't.
That's true.
No, that sounds like a great idea. I'm in.
Yeah, it's time.
Sick.
$10,000.
I mean, between the three of us, we can get together $10,000 easily.
Oh, it would be so. I mean, yeah, we could easily buy one. I don't know if I'm going to actually buy one of these. I probably will not, but I'm definitely interested in seeing what this is, or it's like just some sort of like, I don't know, scam to like get you to join a pyramid scheme or something. I don't know.
Well, so
yeah, right.
According to the page, it's this guy who his name is Michael.
Oh.
Not our Michael, but it's this guy named Michael, and he goes around and just, I think he lives in Japan, and he just scours, because it's something he wants to do, real estate listings, and then just posts them. He's like, and everything, he's like, I'm not a realtor, I've just found these listings.
Yeah. I wonder how cooperative they'll be with foreigners.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm hoping Michael's not just full of crap here, because he could just be like, yeah, $10,000 house. Oh, I missed like 2 decimal places. It's actually like $1 million house. I'm sorry.
I mean, I could believe it though. I think a lot of housing is, it's just being abandoned and it's going the way of the dinosaur in Japan. So people are like moving out of with all the population declines. I mean, there's going to be houses just sitting empty.
Yeah. It could be in like a area that's like in a high risk area of some sort too, which I don't know anything about, but maybe there's some sort of risk associated in that area.
Natural disaster. I can't think of any high risk when it comes to humans in Japan.
It's true.
But, like maybe it's like on the coast and it's getting like eroded away or something.
Yeah,
like that.
the typhoons.
Well, you never know what weird stuff happens in rural mountain towns.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Those things are a black box.
Yeah.
in Japan.
Black box of
Even
Japan.
still.
No,
Nice.
that's a really cool idea. I'm surprised you just like. What made you like just find that page? Or was it just a total?
I have no idea. I randomly was like recommended this thing. I saw like a house and then a price. I'm like, oh, check that out. I subscribe instantly. Like, this is amazing.
this is something I need in my feed.
And I've been like dying to tell you guys about that since
Nice.
I saw that.
Well, dang.
It took a lot for me to not immediately message you guys.
I feel like
we have to buy
join
this house right
this
now.
Instagram page right now. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to find one in Asakusa. Honestly, Asakusa is probably my favorite area, at least in Tokyo, that I found.
Best for food. Oh wait, no, that's a Tokyo area.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking of
Osaka is
Osaka.
Tokyo. Osaka is its own spot.
Well, why do they got to do that? Like we have Paris, Texas. What the heck? Get that out of
Yeah,
here.
that's dumb. Also, the fact that you have like
Not about
Portland
it.
in like 3 different states or something, it always confuses me because the
Springfield?
TV show will say, "Yeah, we're in Portland." I'm like, okay, that
Which one?
doesn't always help me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. That's the way to go. I think we need more Japan houses in our lives. I could do
We
it
do.
too. I'll buy 2.
If you guys had to pick, would you actually go? Would any of you go rural over city? Would you go for
No. Not permanently.
In
not
Japan,
permanently? Yeah.
In Japan or good question.
Well,
Here,
I guess we can talk about both. In Japan is what I was initially talking about. Would you go rural Japan, like the little town we visited? That's kind of what I mean by rural, not dead rural, but like small
like
town.
on the
by,
base
like,
of
the
Mount Fuji,
mountains.
that area.
Yeah. Or would you want to stay in the city?
I think regardless what country it's in, I would still say no rural for me. At least like not permanently.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to retire in a rural city
100%.
potentially,
Right.
but I would never. Right now in my life, I would not. Live
Yeah,
there.
I couldn't do it. It would be
To like vacation there maybe and be like, oh,
it's like
I'm gonna take a week, relax,
day trip.
get away from things.
Has a lot of good
but,
hikes or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do
But
that.
for a solid year, no.
No, yeah, that would
No.
be rough.
I think it'd get boring.
Would you, Colton?
No, I would similar to you guys. I would just go there for a visit. I really enjoyed our like one day there. That was super fun. But
In Fuji?
in like the Fujiwaka town.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
That was
that
nice.
because we were just goofballs the entire time and it was really funny. But yeah, if I had to live there for a year, I don't know. It would. I'm just not much of a rural guy. I'd get way too bored too fast.
Yeah.
If Amazon does not deliver, I think I'd have a problem.
That would be a huge issue. It'd be a life
Yeah.
change.
Especially since like you can't speak the language and you'd be like, wait, I don't know how to order anything. So it's
Yeah,
like,
in a rural area, in a foreign country,
Yeah.
no one's going to speak English.
Yeah, that would be quite the predicament.
Japan or elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
no way.
although
But like rural France, that'd be great. Rural,
Yeah.
most countries out there, I'd love to do.
Like in Europe?
Yeah. I don't know if I do rural America. I've been to a lot of rural American.
No rural
Places?
America. No way.
Not a fan. I mean, the best ones I've seen have been like hot springs mountain towns in Colorado. Even still, or Montana. There's some small towns in Montana that are quaint.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I'd do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a different vibe. I feel like what I really liked about the rural towns of Japan is that you had this like it was a sense of community, like where everyone was kind of just like in their like little 1-story houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the US,
And you
we're
like
so
if
spread
something
out,
happens to somebody, then everyone comes together
Yeah.
and helps them.
and you do get that. Like I have half my family, actually all most of my family is from like that grew up rural, right? Like I don't know if you guys knew this, but my mom grew up on
I
a
did
farm.
not know that.
Like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, she grew up in like farms, and so she, she talks about like during her childhood, like the barn cats, like taking care of them.
Oh,
But
Nice.
there's definitely that kind of that peace and tranquility that comes with the rural life. But I'm with you, like there's nothing that beats like kind of that city or that the energy that comes with this, like being close to a city.
Yeah, it's a very simple life, but I don't want my life to be simple. I need things. I need lots of things.
Yep. You need stimulation.
Yeah, I need something going on, or I need a movie theater,
For me, it's food. I need different kinds of food. I feel
Food's
like
big.
I could not have like steak and eggs every single day for like lunch and dinner. I'd be like, I just get bored. I need Thai food. I need Japanese food. I need any kind of food.
We're so spoiled.
Right. Here's like the thing. Here's the thing I need most in a city that that I actually really like about where I live right now. It's like multicultural food. Like that's the thing. Like in small towns, obviously you don't get like all the different foods, like the French bistros, and then like the Thai food, the Japanese cuisine.
You're not going to
fish and
get
chips.
good Mexican tacos.
Yeah. Like you need
in the rural town.
Yeah. It's
Colorado.
like I want to have like just in a big city, you have like so many different like cuisines all in one area. And it's just like you have so much different like cultural influence. It's like that's like something that is really important to me for like a city. Just having a lot of different cultures there and all the food and all the influence there.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I 100% agree. That's the way to do it. Food is definitely important. Also, there's just not as much amenities. Like there's not going to be a rock climbing gym in a small town.
Oh yeah.
There'll be actual rocks to climb. Depending on where you go.
It depends.
Getting on your back.
If you're in rural Ohio, there's no rocks.
Yeah, no rocks there. But it having a gym is nice, in regardless of what you do. There's no 24-hour fitness in the middle of rural Ohio.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe there is. I don't know. You guys might know.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Having public transport would also be nice. That's not necessarily a thing in the U.S. as much, but like in the foreign countries, the cities have really good PT.
Totally.
And I
really miss that about Japan.
Yeah, I long for like living somewhere where I actually don't need my car. I personally think that'd be awesome. Just being able to like walk / train anywhere. That's sweet.
I love to drive, so I still want a car, but I would love to be able to take the train more places.
Yeah.
100%. Same. I love driving, but having that option, and especially trains, because there's something about trains, like obviously United States, you're flying everywhere if you're going to go someplace, or either that or a road trip with the fam.
Which is a hassle.
Yeah, either way, it's a hassle, right? But there's something about like almost romantic about trains, where there's like this, you're just like, on a train going, it takes, maybe a couple hours to get there, but you've got all this time on the train with like, getting dishes, like food, and looking at the scenery that goes by outside your window. There's something romantic about it.
Yeah,
awesome.
when I lived in California for an internship once that I had, like I would take the bus 3 hours one way just to get to the beach, and it was not an issue at all. If I had to do that with a car, I would just be losing my mind.
Oh yeah.
Like the bus.
We'll see how.
Yeah.
Where you have your romantic vision of the train, I have the same thing with cars. Or with road trips. Like I love going on long road trips, and I calculated it out one time, and the longest time I've driven in a single day or like without stopping to sleep was 16 hours.
Really? God.
I drove from Montana to the top, to just inside the UP of Michigan.
Was this when you went up and through Canada?
Yeah. I came down from Canada into Montana, and then I drove from there to. That actually might have still been the same day. I don't know if I camped in Montana. I think I just came down from Canada and spent kind of the day in Montana, and then drove.
You kept going,
out.
Yeah, because you camped in Banff.
Yeah, I camped over in Banff National Park.
Oh, gosh, that's
for a couple nights.
Glorious.
That was fun.
Bam.
See, was it
really
Lake
cool.
Louise?
Alberta and Louise, yeah.
Yeah.
Louise is better, I think.
It's
if I'm remembering them correctly.
Although it's really, really touristy. Remember when I went, it was just full of tourists.
When I went, it wasn't too bad. But I went to see Lake Louise, spur of the moment. I was like, I don't know, I have time to do it, and I had a beer flight, and I was talking to somebody at the bar, And they're like, you got to do it. And I'm like, oh, if I go now, I could make it in time for sunset. So I'm like, I should just do it. So then
where were you when you had this beer flight?
Well, let's not talk about that. I was kidding. I was down the road just a little bit, so I did have to drive.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
It wasn't. You know, there are a bunch of light beers, so
yeah.
I judged myself okay. Don't drink and drive, kids. And then
we do not condone any drinking and driving.
I mean,
on this podcast.
I did slip and fall into a lake later that night, so maybe it had something to do with that.
I doubt it.
I think that would have happened regardless.
Yeah, lakes are slippery.
And then I saw the lake, which is arguably the better lake, I think. No, not Louise. It was Moraine.
Yeah,
Moraine Lake.
Yeah,
that's the one.
No,
that was definitely worth it. I'd totally go back there and do backpacking around there if I could.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. And like the glacier up by, I remember that, Louise, and I remember seeing Moraine, but never stopped at it. But I bet that's just because it's less touristy, more your style.
I hiked up to Alberta Lake, but then I drove up right next to Moraine and then did a small half-mile hike to get to like the top so I could overlook the whole thing. That was really cool. 100% would do that again. I really need to go back. I need to do more of just British Columbia.
It's
all that's gorgeous.
Have you been to Vancouver?
I want to go up there, rent a van. No. Yeah. Well, I drove through it, but I never haven't been there.
What about you, Colton? Have you been?
I haven't. I really want to go to Vancouver. Very desperately wanting to go. That's like the next Canadian city I want to go to.
Yeah, I recommend it. I was able to do that. Vancouver, Victoria. Amazing. It was like Vancouver, Victoria, and then drove all the way to Calgary and Edmonton. Those are interesting cities. Those like, oil cities, right? Oil sands. Grew up around that. Definitely like smaller, but there's like a lot of history there too. But I really liked Vancouver for just like walking around. It's a great walking city.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
A beautiful, like, I forget the name of the park there, but there's just a giant bicycle loop.
Yeah, I've heard people bike there. Ooh, that's nice. Like what they do. Yeah, a biking city is also a great city where you could bike anywhere. That's like great. Yeah.
Hard pass.
Really?
What?
Man, biking is
I don't know.
Cool.
I just don't.
A biking city is a boarding city, though. Remember
that's like a longboarding city. We love to longboard.
Yeah. Okay. Then now you're getting me. I would longboard play. I just don't like biking terribly. It's fun. I can do it. I've mountain biked, but it's just. I don't know, I'm not a cardio person.
I mean, any city where you can, if it's a biking city, it's also a bird city. Getting those birds, I love those electric scooters.
Oh,
they're so
you're
good.
Getting me.
Anyone who hasn't ridden a bird is just missing out. Like, I'm just saying, it's overpriced potentially, but man, for vacations, if I vacation to a city with a bird, it's like an extra 20% better because it's a joyous experience traveling to and from places. Like. It's a great
I don't know.
time.
I think it's worth it because I remember driving everyone around, or you guys took the birds. That I probably used as much in gas as you guys did on the birds.
Maybe
you probably used less. I mean, it wasn't cheap necessarily, but it was also nice to not have to worry about parking in the car and stuff like that.
It was just it was really fun. I don't know. They had some get up and go. I mean, I don't know. It was really fun. I wish I rode them more. Like in college, because all the universities had the birds around, so should have done that.
The only time I took a bird in college was getting where we all went to college. It was it could get cold, so it was getting cold, too cold to longboard.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know what? And I was late to an exam, and I'm like, oh shoot, this is across campus. How am I going to get there? Like, I can't walk there in time. The bus, no way that's going to get there in time. I got a bird. So I registered for the app real quick and hopped on and was straight line all the way to the building I needed to go to and got there with a minute or two to spare. It was the coldest ride though.
Yeah,
the wind, holding on and the wind was hitting me.
Oh, your hands are frozen to the handlebars of the bird. Now when
that was the first time I was on a bird.
When we do say bird, it means we're talking about the little electric scooters that you can rent around. Bird is the one that we're most familiar with, but Lime.
Bird, Lime.
There was Lime.
There's so many more now.
Yeah, there's tons of companies. But yeah, I remember a buddy of mine too, similar to you, Sean. He had an exam really late, like at dark, and it was like February, like after the first exams came around in college, and he missed like the last bus or something home. So he had to he kept texting all of his buddies, and we didn't respond because we just weren't paying attention to our phones. So he rode a bird without like gloves all the way home. It was like a 2-mile ride home. Sucked. Yeah. It was, it had to have been terrible. Had to have been probably absolutely like
10
awful.
degrees.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrible. Can't imagine it being good at all. Yeah.
No, at a certain point, they take them away because it's too cold for the batteries to work, right?
Potentially, yeah. I honestly, I've been seeing a lot of cities, like less cities with them now. And I think people just like throw them into the lakes and stuff like that. It's just, it's such a troll.
Yeah. You can't go into every city, but
yeah.
It's weird seeing them sometimes though, because I feel like at a certain point they were all the rage.
They were
like,
for a while.
It was on the news, like these birds are showing up.
Yeah, flocking in towns, boys. We're gonna flock.
But now it's just like, oh yeah, there's a bird.
Yeah,
there's an electric scooter.
Part of our transportation system now.
It's like seeing a Tesla. Like remember back in the day, Teslas were like, oh my gosh, it's a Tesla, and you're like, point and stare. But now it's just like, oh, just another Tesla. Cool beans.
Yeah.
Where I live, you'll get like 3 or 4 Teslas in a row.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot.
There's so many Teslas over there.
They flock too, but they're also sometimes just not the best drivers. I would say. I feel like they're kind of like Prius drivers. Not as bad, but
they're like Prius drivers.
They're pompous Prius drivers. They're like, oh, yeah. I'm in a Tesla. I can just get away with it.
I mean, if you give a Prius driver like an extra, a big boost in power, it's going to be a rough time.
Although sometimes I have a thought that's like, sometimes a Tesla like cut me off or something, and I go like, I could just keep driving, or like if they're pulling into me, I could just accelerate,
keep going and
the Tesla will just so like it's automatic.
Yeah.
So like the driver could be trying to be a jerk, system. And I could just be like, it doesn't matter, your car will protect.
Yeah, I control you.
Yeah, right. A couple times I thought that, but never actually acted on that yet.
Yeah. Well, that's just where you live, right? They tend to cut everyone off.
That's like I feel like it's a lot of drivers in California tend to be like, with all the traffic, people get really antsy probably, and they're just like,
yeah, it can be. It's really just the traffic. Although recently there's been a lot of accidents, like a lot more than usual.
Yeah,
I think everyone's forgotten how to drive after COVID.
Sounds about right. Dude, the first time I hopped in my car, I remember there was like a time during COVID where I'd not hopped in my car in like weeks. And I went to the grocery store and it just felt wrong. Like I was like,
how do you shift?
Yeah. How do I drive? And it just, I guess it's like, and then after 5 minutes I was fine, right? Everything came back, but it just didn't feel right for a while. And that was really sad.
I never had the whole, not going out during COVID times because none of the jobs that I worked during COVID were at home. Like none of them transitioned to home. It's always been like, no, we're still going into work.
Same for me. Yeah.
It's weird, but like I was always going to work every day, driving to work. So I saw all the cars just like disappear from the road.
Yeah.
Almost overnight.
Oh, I bet you were happy about that.
And it was the greatest.
Yeah.
I could just
when I didn't have
zip
traffic,
right there.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Especially California traffic. Oh.
Yeah, it was rough. But now it's coming back and it's like
it's now rough. Yeah.
My commute has noticeably increased.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Like used to be, I'd get to work in 10 minutes. Now it's like 15.
50. See, that's so
just
much
a
better.
little bit longer.
My commute is like 45 minutes, and I used to enjoy it a lot because honestly, when you have 45 minutes to yourself, you can like wake up if you just get up and go to work, and like I listen to podcasts too, so I like listen to that, listen to music, jam out, and it was great for like the first year, but now after like 2.5 years with this 45-minute commute, it's like, man, okay, this is starting to get really annoying because I have like so much time just looped up in this commute. So
yeah, especially when it's got bad traffic.
The same thing.
Yeah.
I had an internship before where I was going like 30-ish minutes, I would say, to get there, and then the way back would be probably like 45 to 50, really depending on the day. Or I needed to leave exactly at a certain time. Otherwise, I'd add another 10 minutes.
Yep.
And that's just I did one summer of that. Never want to do that again.
Yeah.
I always want to. That's why when I move, when I get a new job somewhere, eventually, I want to get the job first, and then I'll find a place to live.
Yeah, that's how I gotta do it.
Because then I'll be like, okay, I'll pick a place right next to it.
That's how I did. So my commute for the first 6 months, I was commuting between cities. It was about 50 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic.
Yeah,
that's
almost every.
hours.
Fortunately, I had the option. We did hybrid work, so it was usually 2 to 3 days a week. If I had to do, especially like an on-site visit for my job, I have to do a lot of on-site visits. Drive, so wake up early, like 5:30, 6 a.m., and then head out, do the hour. I went through a lot of mileage and a lot of gas. It really
sounds
sucked.
of it.
But now I'm 5 to 7 minutes from work, which is awesome.
That's so much better. You could even bike there.
I can longboard there if I really want to. Yeah,
if you could bike, oh my god, yeah.
I would love to take like an electric scooter, or if I could bike 5 minutes to work, I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, you got to store a bike, so that could be a problem. But like a little electric scooter, I could take that to work. 5
Electric
minutes. That'd be
longboard.
awesome.
It's a worthy investment.
Oh yeah,
boosted
I would totally
board.
buy an electric longboard.
Absolutely,
that would be the way to do it.
Yep, that would be sweet. That would be sweet.
Because then boosted board's $1,200, give or take, and then you get to work. I mean, with my car, that's going to save me. That's going to pay for itself.
It'll pay for itself so
in
fast,
like
real quick.
in
I don't even
2
think a
days.
boosted board's that much money. I'm gonna look it up. Boosted board.
I'm gonna do the math here real quick, Vant, for a second. So if I did, shoot. I'm trying to think.
What's your
10
Jeep
miles?
get?
Okay, so because I probably pay like $100 a month in gas.
Yeah.
If I was doing nothing, maybe 80 to 100. Yeah, I'm gonna say 85. Gas is kind of high right now where I am.
Oh
so.
yeah.
And then that's time. Well, hold on, I got to divide that.
Boosted has scooters now. No way.
It paid for itself in a little over a year.
Yeah,
essentially. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, that would be sweet.
And probably more so, because then you have less wear and tear on your car.
You'll save money in maintenance stuff. Yeah,
less maintenance things.
That's the life. See, that's why cities are great. You could boosted board your way all the way to work from your apartment or house, wherever you're at. It's a great time.
Yeah. And that is why I will not live in rural Japan.
Unless,
Let's circle back.
Yeah, I don't think they'd take kindly to boosted boards anywhere in Japan, I'll be honest.
What? Why not?
Did you ever see one when you were over there? Anyone on a longboard?
Well, we got to introduce them.
Yeah, gotta introduce them. Yeah, I don't know
startup.
If they're banned or if that's just like not a popular thing there, because
I just don't think they know of them.
Yeah.
You've never heard of it. Have you ever seen someone skateboarding in Japan?
I was going to say, they might, with the whole thing of them not trying to stand out, like skateboarding would make you stand out. So maybe that's just why. Like they just don't want to stand out.
Skateboarding would, but longboarding is a lot quieter.
It is, but it's still very different. I don't know. You just do it. If you get stopped by someone, then you'll know.
There's also way too many people.
It's very tough.
Out,
it's very tough. That would be super hard.
Although plenty of the streets are so empty at night, especially.
Yeah,
it's great. And they're like nicely paved. I can imagine that there's some like really nice, you take some like really nice rides in Japan, especially if they like that like a nice gradual hill, just super chill and just don't have to push or anything.
Good gradients.
It would be super aesthetic, man. Even like, I'm not a morning person, but man, I think if I could get up in the morning and just peruse around Japan, around the cities.
I remember how great it was because, with the jet lag, I ended up getting up at 5 or 6 a.m. every morning there. And it just became routine. And I'd be like, I remember the first morning I was kind of bored. And so I just like walked over to like I think it was the first or second morning, walked over to like the Kombini down the way. It was like a Family Mart and just like got food. And it was just awesome. Like that, especially I mean, imagine taking a longboard to the Kombini down the way.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was a morning person. Sort of.
Yeah, same. I wish I could.
I'm definitely not.
I wish I could just get up at 5 and be like, this is when I want to get up. I can't.
Yeah. But I see the 5 and I go, oh my God.
It's like, I got 4 hours of sleep left. Come on, boys. Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to be a morning person. I wish I could operate on like 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, right.
If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, my day is ruined. Absolutely ruined.
Really?
If I get 30 minutes less, it's like I'm going to feel this for the next 4 hours.
Right. Yeah.
See, I can operate on 6 to 7. Honestly, 8 is almost too long for me.
Really?
If I stay in bed till 8, like for a solid 8 hours, I tend to get like almost like the curve reduction where you get almost like lackadaisical. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. They oversleep. Yeah.
Well, supposedly as you get older, you need less sleep.
I guess I'm just a 50-year-old man trapped in a 24-year-old's body.
Yeah.
Because I go to bed at 11, and then I wake up at 7:15. So, like, that's roughly 8 hours.
That's
maybe probably like
that's
7.5 hours that I get total of sleep. So, I mean, that's if I let's say I go to bed at 11:30,
you're done.
Really?
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, honestly, I want to get 8 hours, but I've been getting like 7 to 7.5. Like when I get full 8, it's like a big difference for me. I need to get an 8 hours of sleep, but I don't know. I have too much going on at night. Like I don't want to go to bed at like 10. That means I have to get up at like 6.
Yep.
I want to get up at 6.
That only is a problem though on the weekdays.
Well,
if it's the weekends or if I'm on traveling or something like that, that's out the window. I can kind of operate on whatever. I do still need to catch up at some point. But
yeah.
I can shift the schedule and I'll be okay.
Totally. Saturday mornings are my catch up. I usually sleep in for like, I'll take, especially if I stay like up late.
Right.
We'll take a good 10-hour sleep on Saturdays.
It's so rough though, because sometimes like Friday or Saturday nights, I often will just stay up till 3 a.m. and then I'm like kind of screwed either way because it's like get up at 11.
Did you say 7 a.m.? What'd you say?
3 a.m.
3. Okay, God.
If I get up at
heard
7 a.m. No, God. But like if I stay up till 3 a.m., like that just really screws up a lot of things. And then I end up just getting another 7 hour sleep night, and then I'm back to where I started.
Never good.
True. Yeah.
So you wanted to talk about Star Wars Visions, Michael?
Yeah.
Did you watch any yet, Mike?
I did.
Okay. How many?
I watched, I think it was up to 4 or 5.
Cool.
I haven't finished it off though.
Wait, we should do our favorite episode like on a countdown.
Okay. Well, let me pull up because I don't remember them by heart. So let me pull it up real quick.
I definitely remember my favorite.
I don't remember either.
Okay. Well, I mean, and Michael's gonna have a limited poll, but that's fine.
So will I. I only watched up to 4.
Okay, so that's gonna be tough. My actual favorite is gonna be tough because I think a lot of them are really good. So several of them are good. I don't think all of them are great, personally.
Some of them are a little sketch. Some of them are a little weird.
So, okay,
just say a number.
I could do it.
Just say a number or after 3.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3,
1.
7.
4. All right.
Okay.
It makes it interesting.
For me, it's between 4 and 7. Honestly.
Okay.
Well,
you didn't like 1 at all.
5 could be really good.
One
is also really good.
Yeah, I really liked 1. I just liked 4 more than 1.
So 1 for me felt like, I don't know if you've ever seen Akira Kurosawa. I'm getting into like the movie shit, but he's like a famous Japanese director. And I'm trying to think of he has a counterpart. There's like 2 really famous Japanese directors of that era, and he's like he inspired like a lot of the like samurai movie tropes and everything like that.
Yeah.
And like I think Seven Samurai is a classic one of his. I'm trying to think. Hidden Fortress.
You're talking about episode 1.
Yeah,
really?
And so it's got this very like it feels like an old samurai movie. I really like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I really like that.
Yeah,
it was really well done for sure.
And I love the reveal of they're both Sith. And they're both, or he's just
good.
like,
I
he's
love
just
the
like
collecting at the end. Like, oh, that was really cool.
Yeah,
he's just like, I don't give a fuck. Just and doesn't it like, it's kind of got this very like the Ronin feel, like where he's kind of masterless and doesn't and isn't like he's a good guy, but from the circumstances of the situation, as versus he's a good guy because he wants to like actively do good. I just thought that was a really cool kind of twist.
Right.
And we've all seen episode 3, right?
Yes. The one by Trigger.
Yeah.
I wish that was a lot better than it was.
I do too. There was a lot of potential there, and the art was really good, but I just couldn't get on with the story.
I think it's a really hot take because a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's the Trigger one, right?" Like I remember seeing a couple of it. I'm with you. I didn't like. The art is so cool, and it reminds me of like Promare. It's slightly different to like when I look back to like Trigger, I think Kill la Kill, Girl in the Gun, right? It's kind of got that similar, but it's much more similar to like Promare, right? I mean, the main twin looked like I forget the name of the guy, the like the main rival character.
The main like blonde. Is it a blonde girl?
No, he had like kind of greenish white hair. He was like the blue haired guy who was basically just Kamina.
Yeah.
And then you had like the main flame guy who was
I just thought it was too much anime. You know?
Yeah.
Little too much.
There's too much anime for Star Wars. Like they started like they lost me almost immediately with the conjoined twin Death Star or Star Destroyer. I'm like, that's not practical.
It's so Trigger though. Let's be real. It's so Trigger.
And they started shooting laser beams, and I'm like,
I mean, then he has a lightsaber that like just slices the ship in half, and I'm like,
I mean, I like the powers, but they just didn't.
It's so absurd and over the top.
Him, he was a lot better.
Yeah,
I think for me, the perfect amount of anime for the Star Wars was 4 and 5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Those were to me like the perfect mix of Star Wars and anime.
Yeah, 4 had a lot of good, like the good elements of anime that could fit Star Wars for me. Yeah, I like
episode 5 as well. Is has that too?
Yeah, was 7 the one with the weird like Sith guy? There's a weird like demented Sith guy that I saw.
It's called The Elder. Was the title?
Okay, I think that's the one.
That rings any bells?
I think I saw a clip of that.
But like,
I mean, and 8, I just didn't like. You know, 8 had a good story, but I don't know why one of them was a rabbit girl.
Oh yeah, that's the rabbit girl one.
Yeah, huh.
Get the furry population in there.
Yeah, we gotta have rabbit girls.
Yeah,
I didn't like episode 6.
What about episode 2?
The best episode was episode 2, the band one where they're singing.
Oh yeah,
that one.
What was
like,
that?
Oh my god.
I didn't know.
That made me cringe.
That was hard. And I'm like, episode 2, come on. Like, I really wanted to enjoy this.
So the really funny thing about this is I got like August, Florian, and everyone in August's house to watch Visions with me. So we started off with 1, and everyone really liked it. They're like, wow, this is actually pretty good. Like, this is good. And then we got to 2, and it's like, man, we might not be able to make it through this anymore.
The energy just died. Yeah. I totally feel you.
But
if I was going to show somebody this who's not an anime fan, it would be a specific order, and I wouldn't show some episodes.
Yep, I would show I would have only shown
episode
them 1 and 4 from what I've seen at least. But yeah, I really liked 4 because it was so subtle. Like I feel like there was a lot there, but it was like I don't know.
4 was the droid one, right?
4 was
like
the tribal group.
Yeah, like this after the Empire fell, some people took over some battle droids and they were harassing a village.
Yeah.
No, I thought
and
that was
then
cool.
there was a wandering
Jedi. Is that Trigger as well?
I don't think so.
I don't
check it out.
They looked like a familiar studio, but I don't know what studio that was.
Like the girl's character design looks super familiar to me, but I couldn't like really place it.
So that looks familiar to me too.
It reminds me it reminds me of Darling in the Franxx of what was the one blue haired girl,
Ichigo.
Ichigo, yes, it reminds me of
that
her.
Girl, yeah. To
not
me, it reminded me a little. It reminded me a little bit of The Last Airbender, but I'm pretty sure that's not the same studio, and I don't know if that's. It was like the eye shape, like reminded me of that, but I'm pretty sure that's not correct in the end.
I was a big fan of the Ninth Jedi. Have you guys all seen that? I don't think any of you seen that, right?
Is that episode 5?
Yeah, episode 5. That one it probably is my favorite. I just liked how their take on the lightsabers.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, do you guys want me to read the synopsis to you?
Sure, yeah.
I guess I didn't see episode 5.
It's like a single sentence.
The
synopsis is: the daughter of a lightsaber smith is pursued by dark forces while on a dangerous mission.
Sounds good.
And so you get to see, the lightsaber smith, which is really cool. And, like, they have some interesting takes on what you can do with that, or what he can do with lightsabers. I thought it was really cool.
Huh. Okay. Nice.
And then the robot one, episode 6, it was like Astro Boy.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if that works for Star Wars.
It's basically Astro Boy, and I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I don't even remember episode 9.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit... I think I've seen a clip of that, too. And, yeah, it didn't seem like Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
Just from I thought the animation that made the most sense was, I think it was episode 4. Episode 1 didn't feel like Star Wars to me, even though they had like lightsabers. It felt like an old school, but that's kind of what I liked about it.
But I loved that take on it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really cool.
For sure.
That was. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that was a perfect combination of like, this is old school Japanese, shonen.
Like think about like the stormtrooper with the he had like the samurai extension. You know what I'm talking about? Like the
that was
guard.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love that the only color was the lightsabers. That was
that was really it was very artistic.
The glow from him, when the kid. I remember the scene of like
the gunshots. That was cool.
Yeah, but when he brings out the lightsaber the second time and shows like the kid elder or whatever, and his like face it's like he's kind of afraid, but also and he stabs the lightsaber. So.
Yeah, the traveling Ronin thing is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a good trope in Japanese media. It was very... I'm trying to remember what it reminds me of, but there's several shows that are...
The 2003 cartoon, that's what it reminds me of. Like, it brings me back. Yeah. No, yeah. The Samurai Jack guy, yeah. I was talking with one of my coworkers about it, and we were discussing Star Wars Vision. She's like, oh my gosh, I was so hyped. And we were like, both like, oh yeah, like the 2003 cartoon was just the shit. And like Grievous, I remember General Grievous from that was just
that one you're talking about.
The coolest dude ever, right? Because like in that, he just descends from the ceiling inside like the
Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's so good. He is scary in that, as opposed to prequels or even Clone Wars.
He's just
the Clone Wars. Grievous.
Yeah, he's kind of like a coward and just like makes stupid plans. Whereas in that, he is super tactical and just knows he's like 5 steps ahead of everyone in that.
Right? Yeah.
Just why can't they just take that same energy and like put it into
the third movie? He died kind of weirdly in the movies. Like
Kenobi just shot him.
Yeah, like Obi-Wan's like, I can shoot him and we're good to go. Yeah.
So uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
I like the thought that have you guys seen the full Clone Wars, like the full 8 series or 7 season animated one?
I have not.
I've saw the first couple seasons, and then I watched the last one because I know it was ending, and I was like, all right, I gotta watch it, and it was dope.
So good.
It's really good.
They had this thing goes for 8 seasons. The whole Clone Wars happens. Anakin and Kenobi are fighting, all around the galaxy, and they're trying to kill Grievous because Grievous is one of the generals of the Trade Federation, right?
Yeah,
or the Separatists. So, but because of a comment that George Lucas wrote into the script in the movies, because they met each other on the thing, and they said on the ship bridge, and they said, "Oh, you're a lot taller than I expected," or you're shorter than I expected. Grievous said to Anakin.
Right.
So because of that, for these 7 seasons, they had to figure out a way to never make them meet, even though he's constantly trying to kill them.
They're trying to meet each other. Yeah. Huh.
That's really interesting.
It's this funny throwaway line that's like, well, if you didn't do that, we could have had so many more cool battles in this animated show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they always had him in spaceships, right? Like Anakin always was the guy. Like I remember, I think is the Malevolence. I think I remember seeing that one where
and they were on the same ship at one point. They never ran into each other.
That's so funny.
And Kenobi fought him 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Really?
But Anakin never did.
Weird.
Yeah.
You are a bold
it's
one.
One of those little throwaway lines that kind of...
You'll move. Man, we could have a whole discussion about the prequels.
Shoot. Ooh, prequel special.
Prequel special. Did you guys...
prequel meme special.
Obviously, you've all watched it, but did you watch them as they came out? I think I went to the theater showing of episode 2, and then I obviously went to the theater showing of episode 3.
Yeah, I watched episode 3.
I'd love to see him in theater again.
You want to know my favorite memory of episode 3?
Track?
What?
Yeah.
My favorite memory of episode 3 is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the cereal companies had like promotions where you got little lightsabers with mazes in them. Do you guys remember this? Is this a thing?
I do. Yeah.
They had little
What?
literally lightsabers that were like this bit. Well, okay, I explained to the audience, like 1.5 inches big, and then they expanded further to like 3 inches big. And everyone at my school got them, and we had lightsaber wars with them. So like you were really cool if you like got one and it was like a red. You're like, holy crap! You got Mace Windu.
Like holy purple. Crap. I was always going for Mace Windu's purple.
Was a big
one.
They're like, wow, this is like a rare one.
Yeah.
And then like people on playground were like,
for one purple.
It was brutal because people were like punching each other, like because they're so small. They're like just a little 3 inches things. So like people would just go in and like stab other people, and it's like basically
this did not happen in my school.
Yeah.
Which
school did you go to, Colton?
This was when I was.
I don't remember these things.
For everyone new to this, I did live in England for 2 years. This is when I was living in England. When I was
wow, English kids are
they were brutal, dude. They were brutal. They were like
No wonder they had so many Hispanics.
I could talk about the school system there a lot. The teachers there were very mean to me and everyone.
Was it because did people okay? Because I don't think we've ever talked much about your England experience.
Yeah.
Did they recognize that you were American?
I believe they did. It was kind of a smaller school, so it was almost like the whole like small town thing where everyone just knew by word of mouth too. But I didn't have the accent because it was kind of obvious. It's like if you met
had your
someone,
British accent.
Yeah,
I did not have it yet. So like,
although you did say that you
accent,
had it though,
I did
for a little bit of time.
assimilate. I assimilated with the British kids, but like it's like if you had a British kid come into your class, you probably would notice that there's like, oh, they talk weird.
Yeah.
So
maybe, yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, that was there was a whole lot of stuff that, I mean, there's a lot of cool things that happened, and it was just a very different experience, honestly. Kind of wish I remembered more of it, but
yeah,
I was so young.
What you're like probably 8, 9?
I was like 8 or 9, 8 through 10 years old is when I was over there. So yeah, like I was friends with other foreigners, which was also really funny. My 2 best friends were French and Australian, not
That's
people
really funny,
from
yeah.
England. Yeah, so
that makes sense.
That was cool, and yeah, we'll leave it for another podcast, I guess, to talk more in depth of it. But it was interesting, and I wore uniforms, and I did have a British accent, and I got yelled at for not writing cursive properly because I was supposed to learn that in like 2nd grade, but I didn't know how to.
Yeah, I mean, briefly back to like we talked about the prequel special. For some reason, this triggered a memory in my mind because I'm watching the Marvel Cinematic Sacred Timeline Fan Edition cut right now. I think I told you guys about that before.
Yeah, where they have everything in order, the whole cinematic universe.
Cut together every single movie and MCU Phase 1 through 3 TV show in chronological order, start to back, and the whole thing's like 2 days and 16 hours long.
Yeah,
I've almost finished the first 16 hours.
Really? God.
I think I'm like that. I think I have 2 days and 2 hours left right now, and I'm already at Iron Man 2.
Oh,
a little bit past that.
Okay.
And it's crazy to see what happens at the same time. Like the Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, and Thor are almost the exact same time.
At the same time. Huh.
Like it cuts between those 3 things almost at the same time. And then immediately after that, like immediately after Iron Man 2 and Thor, Iron Man 2 I think is the last one. Maybe a section of the Hulk is when the Avengers starts.
Oh, okay.
And then from there, I don't even know what's going to happen. Like, imagine during the Avengers thing, I'm gonna get parts of Infinity War too because they go back. So it's gonna be crazy. Like, I'm already at Avengers, and I still have 2 days left of content.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, no,
it's wild.
That's actually really interesting. You bring that up because you mentioned that. Oh, yeah, you go back. It's chronological. How will they handle the times? Spoilers. The time skip for Endgame. Like
they're going to put it in at the same time. So imagine
Endgame will happen, and then it'll like
play the different realities that happened at the same time.
That's
well, like
really
how
weird.
they've been doing it so far. Like if something happens, it's going to just cut immediately to it. Like, you know, Tony Stark was building something, and then when he created the new element, he was knocked out his walls and everything. They cut from that. to a scene from Thor, because that's when Coulson was reassigned to go to New Mexico where the hammer landed.
Oh, that's
it
really
happened
weird.
at the same time. So they cut between those two things, and then from there on, the Thor movie and Iron Man 2 was cutting between each other. So I think what happens is in the Avengers movie, when they have that whole circle moment where they all like land around and the camera pans in, they're all like, "Oh, we're the Avengers." I think they're immediately going to cut to the scene in the alleyway when they all pop in from the future.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And they're just going to go back and forth from there. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's
really cool.
Is that like out of context? If you watched that for the first time, would you just be like, "What the heck is going on?"
You definitely have need to see everything first.
Yeah,
before you watch this.
Why are they doubling up? Makes for a great
There have been scenes where I'm like, it's cuts somewhere. I'm like where the heck am I?
Yeah.
Like it cut to the Hulk, and I'm like, what? I haven't seen this movie in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I need to.
Makes for great, like, wow, what the heck? Like, why is this happening? Like the suspense for the entire series. Yeah,
it has been very cool. I've been definitely enjoying it. It's just going to take me months to get through because I'll watch like an hour or so a night.
Yeah.
And if I have time.
Yeah.
And I have over 72 hours left, or at least 48.
Yeah.
Almost 50
nuts.
hours, I think. If I'm
2 days.
2 hours, yeah.
That's nuts.
That's unbelievable.
It's like sitting down to watch all of Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you
how
can't
long
just
is that
do
going to
that.
take you?
Yeah.
At least it's not One Piece.
It's not One Piece.
Yeah, or Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, right.
Or Bleach. Man, I really wish I could finish Bleach.
Actually, it's probably Hunter.
I don't want
Hunter is because each episode's what 20 to 24 minutes.
Yeah.
You cut out all the
44.
any like stuff. So that's roughly 50 plus hours, right? So 180 episodes of Hunter x Hunter.
Have you guys seen compilations of like Bleach fights?
I haven't. No. Are they?
I've never seen.
Cool?
There's some. Okay, I watched the first probably like 200 episodes of Bleach.
Gosh, that's commitment.
There's so like, and I stopped. I'm like,
can't deal with it.
It got to a certain arc where I was like, this isn't entertaining anymore.
Yeah.
And I started watching other stuff. But I've seen compilations of like future fights, and it looks so cool. Like, there's a scene where the main character like unsheaths his sword and then like whips it back like to the ground, like you're taking out your sword, like you would in most things.
Right.
But when he does that, it like shatters the ground for like a mile, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
I love the like
so
really
cool.
over dramaticness of it. It's like, wow.
Oh
yeah, it's like One Punch Man punching the mountain.
Yeah.
But I never want to watch that. Like, it's just going to take too long. I don't want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I heard there's a order online that you could watch. It's like, but the order is like you literally have to skip like 4 seasons. Like you go up to season 3, you skip 4 seasons, and then you have like the last 2 or 3 seasons, and then that's all you have to learn or have to watch.
Maybe that's what I would do because I think I got to the 3rd season and I'm like, all right, this is taking too long. I can't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So maybe you just had like the 3 seasons of filler that you dropped it at.
Maybe.
But that's exactly.
It had a lot of filler though. It started getting slow. You know?
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt with Naruto though. I watched up to Naruto, like the regular Naruto, and then Shippuden has like way more stuff, and I couldn't watch it. Just couldn't. But they do have some really cool fights.
They do that in Dragon Ball Z too, and then some arcs are just nuts. Like, I was thinking about this recently for some reason, randomly. The Majin Buu arc in Dragon Ball Z is just the wildest arc. So much happens. Like, it's tons of firsts, and
right.
It's just like they're all over the place. That's when I think the fusion technique happens.
Oh.
It's when they get the sacred sword happens. There's like so many things, and then Goku and Vegeta fuse in that.
Yeah,
using like the ring thing.
They do the fusion and the ring
like
fusion
earrings,
thing.
right?
Wow.
Well, because Goten. All right, you guys ready for this? I know you guys aren't Dragon Ball Z people, or as much as I've seen it. I think so Goten and Trunk. No. Who's the second son from Vegeta? because there's
It's
Gohan,
They make
right?
Gotenks, right?
No, it is Trunks. It is Trunks and Goten, which is Goku's second son.
Yeah.
Gohan and then Goten.
Yeah.
They fuse. They learn the fusion technique.
Yeah, they do that together.
And they fuse and they become
Gotenks, right?
Gotenks. And they're like, this fusion technique lasts 30 minutes and it amplifies their powers and such.
Right.
They learn that, right? But then there's another type of fusion that happens, and this is permanent, and it uses these weird earrings that the Grand Kai have.
Yeah.
And that's what Vegeta and Goku do, because they can't defeat Majin Buu, so they have to fuse, and they become Vegito, who is sick. Like, Vegeto's awesome. and then but this is what makes Dragon Ball Z so stupid. Later, in a movie special, in the Brawly movie special, they have to fight Brawly. So they have to fuse then, but they don't have the earrings. So they have to do the fusion dance to fuse in that way. So they have to come up with a new name.
And they're like, they reverse the character names.
They fusion, and they go.
Yeah.
And Vegeta almost doesn't do it because he's too embarrassed.
Right.
He's like, I'd rather have the die and have the planet blow up than do this dance with you.
Yeah.
Sounds like Vegeta.
Yeah. And I don't know even where my point was from this, but all this was originated from like the Majin Buu arc, and that's when he goes Super Saiyan 3 for the first time.
Right.
Like, so many firsts happen in the Majin Buu arc. It's ridiculous.
Huh.
And that's a 100 episode arc or more.
Episodes.
Yeah, right. And let me guess, that 30 minutes they talk about lasts like 10 episodes.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's so much.
They probably spend like 3 episodes talking about fusion beforehand or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Well, they were practicing it for like 5 episodes or more, maybe 10.
Yeah,
because you got to get it right.
Yeah.
If you get it if your fingers are a little bit off, then it's wrong and you can't do it.
Yeah. I always loved how like they had the crazy technology there too. Like, didn't they have that
the capsules?
The capsules where you could like go train for like 100 years and it would be like 5 minutes.
So
that
was
world.
the hyperbolic time chamber that was on Kami's planet, which is literally God.
Yeah.
But who is not very powerful for God. Apparently. I don't know what he did, but he was God on our planet and did nothing. And then he had a hyperbolic time chamber to train for, you get 24 hours is a year. But then they also had but I think that's like, God technology, if you will.
Yeah.
But then in just regular technology, like Bulma, she owned Capsule Corp, which the whole thing is they make these little capsules that you press the button, you throw it on the ground, and something pops out. Oh. So they have like whole cars or whole spaceships that pop out of these capsules.
In your pocket.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Where's this technology now?
This is a very minor thing that was just in Dragon Ball Z,
Right.
Yeah.
We own, and because of this, she's a billionaire,
Yeah.
And this is a plot point for some reason.
Yeah.
That is funny. It's kind of like in Naruto, like they have like TVs and like modern technology, but then also like they're in a ninja
They don't have
village.
guns.
Yeah. It's like it's
doesn't quite always add up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could talk about the weird oddities in Dragon Ball Z for a long time because there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you get that much with a long running show like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are just like, I don't even think the creator always remembers what he puts in the show because like sometimes there'll be something and then like it's like understandable 300 episodes later there's another something, but it doesn't necessarily completely contradict the other like thing that happened, but it's like, well, you could have used this old technology to solve this problem in like 10 minutes.
I'm surprised there's not more problems.
Yeah. With such a long-running show like that.
The show and the manga for that is JoJo. There's a great meme for JoJo. It's Araki forgot. And it's just like, Araki forgot X. I'm trying to think of some of the best ones off the top of my head. But basically just like, I mean, spoilers, but JoJo, like the whole Hamon system basically just disappears. And then they get replaced by stands, and stands are just like, okay.
Oh, really? That's the whole thing that happens?
Yeah, like for the first kind of like two seasons, but it's like the first 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's Hamon, which is the ripple, which is like
it's like that's hilarious. That's a thing.
It's breathing blood magic, essentially. Like
what?
Yeah, like
and he's like, screw that. We're gonna go stands.
It's like specialized breathing. And that's basically.
Oh, it's like so Demon Slayer. Did you ever
kind
watch
of,
that?
yeah. Kind of like that, yeah. But not with swords.
Total concentration breathing.
Yeah,
Except this is like.
Did you guys watch the movie?
No, Demon Train.
I'm only halfway through the anime. I got to get through it.
I didn't. Okay, I didn't mean to derail you, but that's
have you even seen
so
episode
good.
19?
No, I'm like I said, I'm like episode 12-ish.
That's the one you need to get to, man. That's
I know.
Just
Is that the
fight.
one with the?
There's a good fight there. I know there's a good fight there.
Is that? Oh, is it? I think I know what you're talking about now.
It's the most beautifully animated scene
with the drums.
Yeah,
it's probably
and,
some waves
and just the
there,
fire and just like all that stuff. It was just
so good.
It was gorgeous. I mean, Ufotable, right? That's the studio made it. I'm pretty sure. Ufotable, which they've done like I think you've all seen Fate Stay Night, right? Like that's one of my favorite anime of all time, which is Fate Stay Night.
I need to rewatch it. Honestly, it's been so long.
Good. I love the the battles in that, and just kind of like the battle of wills and ideology between all of the characters. Like there's something that just has, and it's like I'm pretty sure that's totally unique to the anime, right? Like it's they use the same universe, but it's all like put in that and Ufotable is the one who does it, and they go, oh, a limited budget works.
Knock it out of the park.
They go nuts.
They put.
You've seen who's the guy in yellow in Demon Slayer?
God, I gotta say I hate that guy so far. That guy sucks. That guy sucks.
Has he done his thing yet though?
He's done nothing. He's just cried. He cries about everything, and then like yeah. I do not like that guy so far.
I don't like him too. But I love the boarhead guy.
The boarhead guy is very strange.
Awesome. It's the same guy who voices Kirito.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's
the guy of 1,000 voices.
Just doing a meme. Is that just a meme at that point? They're like, all right, let's get some good voice actor to voice this boar guy.
Yeah.
Well, that voice actor is really good at doing like sound effects, if that makes sense. Like he does a lot with his voice that most people don't. Like he is really good at reactions, I think. Not that comes at all in there in Sword Art, but in other animes, he's a lot more prominent in how he like reacts to things. More not guttural is the wrong word, but like he does like weird breathing things, you know, that like most people don't. It sells the character.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I've noticed that like he's in a lot of stuff, and also
a lot of stuff.
He can change his voice quite well. I've noticed definitely between some of his characters where he'll be like, you're like, wait, that's the same guy who does Kirito, and you like notice it in like some like his inflection.
Yeah.
But he'll like completely change. I mean, think about a great example is it Inosuke? I'm trying to remember the guy.
Yeah, that's the guy. Inosuke, I think. Inosuke. Yeah, that sounds right.
From Demon Slayer. Yeah. It's like, wait, yeah, you can like tell just because of like the certain vocal inflection he makes, but it's totally different from
Kirito or something. You know?
Yeah.
That whole show is really good. I'm a big fan of Demon Slayer. It's not like the story isn't revolutionary in a sense. You know, it's like, but it's so well made.
Yeah,
it looks really good. Like if I'm going to introduce somebody to anime, that would be one show to introduce them.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's
so well made, and it's every shonen story I feel like has not changed since like the big three, and it's kind of stayed the same. I guess maybe like if you consider Attack on Titan shonen, kind of. But,
I would say it's shonen.
I'd consider it seinen. Like especially,
I guess maybe I don't know the exact difference.
So shonen's for like younger, like men for like 16, like that age, right? Like teenagers, teenage boys. Whereas seinen's for like adults because it's like dark. Like think Berserk is like seinen.
Oh, okay.
Like
I can
there's
see that
blood
being
and
a difference.
gore and worse.
Sure. Okay.
But I feel like every single like shonen has just like refined it. Like think about like My Hero Academia. Refine the system even more. Like it's not revolutionary, but it's just like refinement. It's got like the steps just down even more. And then Demon Slayer, same thing. And think about the movie; it made $500 million.
I mean,
and you said you saw the movie, or you didn't see it? I
didn't.
Yet? It's good.
Yeah,
it's real good.
It's good.
I know you haven't finished it as well, Colton, but it's just like it has a character in it who, once you finish the anime, you've seen before, but it's really cool to explore their character.
I see. Okay.
And just like follow them on this short adventure, and during the anime, the impression I got of the character was like, oh, this guy seems a little odd, I don't know. But then you watch the movie and you're like, respect. I got you, dude. Like,
nice.
Let's go. So it's
Can
a really
you
good
watch
story.
the movie without seeing the anime?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. It relies on too much from the world, I think. And you wouldn't know who one of the characters is unless you've seen the movie or the show.
Gotcha.
But you'll get there. You'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I knew that movie was going to be I knew that movie was popular because I saw an ad on like actual television for it, and I was blown away. I'm like, wait, there's an
Actual
anime
American
movie?
television?
Yeah, and it was like during
worldwide
it was during
impact.
like a basketball game too. Like I was watching like actual like big network, and I was like, what? And people like, people who don't normally watch anime started like we're talking about it. Like, oh yeah, you hear about this movie? I'm like, wait, what?
Fans are coming out.
I don't think they saw it, but they're just like, oh, we saw this like pop up, and they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
and I was like,
people watching that.
What?
People watching, Attack on Titan. A lot of people watching like a lot of people I know watching One Punch Man that are like new to anime too, even now.
That's also a good one to
one.
introduce someone with.
Yep.
It's excellent.
I think it's funny and it's
awesome.
Looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's distinctly anime as well. Like
distinctly like
anime.
you like get the good parts of like just a badass character from anime.
Yeah, I think Attack on Titan does that too.
with the humor. Yeah. Attack on Titan also is a good.
It's a great one. That's a great
so
one.
many people.
I don't know. See, at this point, like at a certain time, Dragon Ball Z was an intro anime or Naruto or Bleach or stuff like that. I would not recommend that to anybody right now.
Not anymore.
I wouldn't say start watching Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
I would recommend Hunter x Hunter. I have a friend of mine who's not an anime person, but started watching Hunter x Hunter, and they're like, "This is really good." Like, let's go.
It's really cool watching that too, right? I mean, I think so. Of the three of us, I was the latest into it, right? I really hadn't watched anime, and
latest into anime, you mean?
Yeah, until like I met you guys, right? I remember Colt said you
until
watched.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. I think I think Attack on Titan may have been literally the first one we watched like together.
I think that's right.
In our dorm, just like
yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun.
That was a good time.
That was so cool.
Anime nights, yeah. And then you sneak in through the window.
See through the window. Did you? No, you let me in, right? I think.
Yeah, I mean,
well, the door. Not actually sneaking in, but like you got to crawl through it.
Yeah.
Wait, did I actually do that?
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure a couple people
I thought the screens were locked or something.
Nah, we could totally open the window.
Yeah,
you could
totally
walk in.
Oh, I may have done that once or twice, but I think the door was close enough where I could just go around.
No, but that was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But yeah, Attack on Titan. I think Code Geass was another one.
Code Geass, and then ReZero we watched together pretty much all the way through, which was a good one.
ReZero,
that was a good
sure
time. That was a good memory.
That was so good.
Those ReZero watch sessions, man, I liked those a lot. Those were really fun.
Blew our minds. What was happening?
I was just blown away by because I guess when I thought of anime before, right? I was thought of like Naruto or anything like that. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? But then I watched Avatar: The Last Airbender freaking when I was a kid. Loved that, right? And really never found anything with like that.
That's a good gateway for Western kids of like,
very much so.
Animated can mean a lot.
Yeah, there could be a story.
And it goes from kid show in the first season to dark and like really real and kind of more adult theming and
dealing with life or death,
and also just life shit.
Like things happen. Like people have emotions and people like don't always like end up happy after something,
And I feel for some people it's a really hard block with them for animated things. Like
totally.
Even with like Pixar movies, they don't understand that animated can mean stuff. But a lot of people, I think, especially now that they're exposed to it more with Disney and stuff like that, they're getting to the point where like, you can get a lot of emotional impact out of an animated thing, whether it's Western or Eastern or whatever.
Yeah,
totally.
Which I'm glad about because there's so much you can do with. There's so much you can only do with animation.
Yeah. There's so much like fantasy settings like that work so much better in an animated setting. Like that just look corny in live action that you can make actually more artistic. It's just
you cannot translate it into live action for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think what anime excels at, or animation in general, is this is kind of pulling from a documentary I recently watched on it, is the caricaturization, where it's like extremely expressive. Like think about anime eyes, right? They're so
like the eyes
big,
being able to
you can
tell.
really express that, which you can't do with live action. And you can do such freaking think about the Star Wars Visions, the Trigger one, right? It's just so over the top. You can't it's so absurd. You can't you can't process that as like a live action at all,
right?
Because just my favorite thing is in sports animes, when this happens in so many things where they can have a moment of thought, like a moment in real life happens like that,
right?
But in anime or in any sort of animated show, you can show their internal dialogue in that moment and how much they're thinking about certain things, which can be a whole minute-long scene.
Yeah,
in real time, it's like immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that in live action. It just seems really corny. It's hard to explain why. Actually, I was going to talk about this again, but like we should watch Squid Game together because I think that's really good. But Squid Game was actually
I've seen a lot of memes.
I've seen too, and like a bunch of YouTubers have been doing I think I saw a bunch of Roblox Squid Game just pop up all of a sudden.
They do some internal thoughts that don't actually seem corny, and I'm not sure. It makes me confused because I'm like, okay, usually this is like really like awkward, but no, they actually do it. It's like not like overbearing. It's just like very like, I don't know. It just seems more well done. It's hard for me to explain.
I wonder about it. Why that is? I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, maybe it's just like.
Do you guys want to watch that?
We should.
I've never seen it. I'd watch an episode.
Same.
I have to go because my brother and I are starting the Halo franchise, so I have to leave like very soon. I told him 9:30.
What does that mean? You're starting the Halo franchise?
We're playing
through the campaign?
Yeah, playing through the entire Halo campaign together. But
that's awesome,
that's really
dude.
sweet,
I told him
do it on heroic.
We're doing it on at least hard, but I told him I'd meet him at 9:30, and it's 9:43 over here, so we may have to wrap this up.
All right. Well, I think. Yeah, then I guess we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
For today's episode,
as
this
always,
has been almost a podcast with with myself, Michael and Colton, and one day we'll get there.
One day. All right, guys.
Outro.
Yeah, I